So first things first, of course, you're going to need a BloFin account. And the good news is it's super easy. No KYC, no restriction, and using my link in the description down below, there is up to $5,000 in bonuses, which, by the way, I've already claimed my bonus. You do need to make a minimum deposit of $100, make your first trade, and you can claim that bonus. When you click the link down below, you'll see this page with yours truly. That's my affiliate page. Not only do you get a bonus, I get a bonus. So I think it's a pretty fair deal. And like I said, up to $5,000. Futures trading. Futures is, of course, where you can make great gains, very exciting. But do be warned, you can make great losses as well. So it's important you understand what you're doing when it comes to futures trading. It can be extremely risky. So the place I would like to start is here with the order. You're going to see it will say cross and a multiplier, which is the leverage. If you select cross, it's giving you the option to select cross or isolated. Now, I'll allow you to pause the video so you can read it. Easier than me explaining. It's probably explained way better here. But what I would say is I do recommend for any beginner to intermediate to select isolated. It's much easier to trade that way. It's much safer to trade that way. And for the purpose of this video, I'll be using isolated. Then it comes to leverage. So BloFin allows you to leverage all the way up to 150x. Now, I definitely don't recommend that. I mean, in some cases, people may use 50x, even 100x leverage. Again, not recommended. Super high leverage. The higher the leverage, the higher the risk. So your gains can be much bigger, but the place that you're going to get liquidated is much nearer. And the way leverage works, it's a multiplier on a percentage. So let's say the price of Bitcoin moves up 1% and your 100x leverage, well, that's not going to be a 1% move. That's going to be a 100% move. So huge gains, but can be huge losses as well. So do take caution. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be selecting 10x leverage. It's quite moderate for Bitcoin-ish, and it's easy to understand, let's say. So we've got 10x leverage. So let's say, for example, we wanted to only buy Bitcoin if it came down to 69,000. At the moment, I've got it selected in Bitcoin. I'm going to choose amount in USDT. So we're going to choose limit order, 69,000. I'm going to select 50% at 10x leverage. So I have about 5K, but I'm using 2,500 of my own money, but it's 10x, so it's going to give me $25,000 position. If I select buy now, that's going to go into my open orders, and it will only be activated, only be filled if the price of Bitcoin comes down to $69,000. So I'll cancel that order, simple as that. Don't need that right now. Equally, if I wanted to get in right now, I could do that, 10x leverage. I could select, for example, I don't know, a small amount, 10% at 10x. So I'm using $500 of my own money, but because I'm 10x leverage, it's a $5,000 position. So I could press buy long, and it opens the position right away. And I'm currently in a trade. It's showing my liquidation price, which is at 63,000. Because this is a long trade, I want my stop loss to be above that liquidation price. You don't want to get liquidated. Always use a stop loss. We're going to be talking more about stop losses, take profits in a moment, as well as liquidations. So now that I've made, or I nearly made 15 cents, or I've made 10 cents, I'm going to close that trade out quickly because I don't want it open. There you go. I've made $2 just from showing it. Great. Made $2 profit there because I was leveraged. But again, higher the leverage, higher the risk. So be careful there. Okay. So we've done isolated, we've done cross, we've done leverage. Order types, market limit. Trigger order allows you to place a take profit and stop loss or a trailing stop loss. I wouldn't focus too much about that as a beginner. I would focus more on market and limit orders. When you have a trade open, you can set a stop loss or take profit, or if you want to set the take profit and stop loss before placing that trade, you can. In the previous example, if I did a market order, I can select take profit, stop loss, and select that take profit and stop loss right away. It also gives you the liquidation price, so you know where to place your stop loss to not get liquidated. Okay, so liquidations. The higher your leverage, the bigger potential you can make and lose. And because you're essentially borrowing money from the exchange, that's what you're doing, you're going to have a liquidation price where the exchange will no longer fund you that leverage. So the higher the higher the leverage, I meant to say, the closer the liquidation will be to that entry price, whether you're going long or short, and you'll see how it affects. Let me show you an example. So if we use, let's select 50% at market with 10x leverage, you can see going long, my liquidation is $63,250. If I select 100x leverage, well, now my liquidation price has gone all the way up to $69,500. And you can see in the chart here just how close that is. Before it was down at 63,000 all the way down here, and now it's all the way up at this level. It's extremely high risk. But of course, very, very small movements in the market price will produce huge gains or indeed huge losses. So that's how leverage works. Always protect your liquidation price with a stop loss, however close it is. And I'm not suggesting that you should always put your stop loss right by the liquidation price. This is getting a bit more technical about trading and risk management, and I'll make more videos on that. I have other videos on that, but basically don't get liquidated. Make sure you have a stop loss protecting it. So if you're going long, you're buying, you want your stop loss above your liquidation price. If you're shorting, you want your stop loss beneath that liquidation price. So if the price goes back up, you're not getting liquidated. When it comes to take profit orders, it's kind of the inverse of stop losses. You're setting an order that the platform, the exchange, will automatically close your trade in a profit if it hits that take profit price. You could be at the gym, at work, playing with the kids, doesn't matter. If it hits take profit, it's going to do it for you. You don't need to be watching the chart. Same with the stop loss. So if you have these order types in place, you can just leave the app, leave the web browser, and not really worry about it. So that moves us on nicely to depositing, transferring, and withdrawing funds, a very important part of a crypto exchange, of course. Now, I have some funds already in my account, but let me show you how you would make a deposit. So what you can do, you can either go to assets and select funding, spot, or futures. I suggest starting with funding, and you can simply click on this arrow here. You can select any cryptocurrency you like. So this is of course for depositing crypto. You can make a deposit using a debit card as well. But for example, you could select deposit up here, or you can select any of the cryptocurrencies, make a deposit. So for example, with USDT, you're gonna be able to select different chains available that are on Tether, and make sure you select the right one. And you'll see your wallet address and the QR code, and that's for you to send crypto to from another wallet. The other way is buying crypto with a MasterCard or a Visa, so a debit card. So you go to buy crypto and you just enter the amount in USD, or you can select different currencies. So for example, let's select, I don't know, $500 and you will be given some payment providers, and you just simply press buy now, and it will allow you to buy cryptocurrency with a debit card. Can't be a credit card, but with any debit card it will allow you to buy crypto. It doesn't have to be USDT. You can buy Ethereum or Bitcoin, but in my opinion it's easiest to start by just buying USDT. It's the lowest fees, and then you can convert it or trade it into cryptocurrency after. Withdrawing crypto from your BloFin account is just as simple. For example, you can see in my futures account here where I hold USDT. If I wanted to withdraw this, I could simply click on here and I could press withdraw, and I can send it to any wallet I wish. For example, my hardware wallet, back to my Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, Bybit wallet, wherever I wanted to send that crypto back to. Maybe you wanted to withdraw it for off-ramp purposes, for example, to send money back to your bank account, you can't withdraw money to a bank account, but you can withdraw crypto to another exchange, for example, like if you're in the States, Kraken, Coinbase, and then of course you can turn that into US dollars and put it in your bank account from there. So all you would do is select the coin that you want to withdraw, for example, USDT, put the address here, put the network you're sending it over, put the amount, and you just verify it and continue, and it's as simple as that. Now that moves us to transferring funds, which is quite an important part of using any exchange, including BloFin, and it's how you can put your cryptocurrency in different pots, as it were, depending on what you want to do with it. So for example, your funding account, think of it as like a holding account. Then you've got your spot account. That's if you just want to buy crypto, buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, or sell it back into USDT. Very simple, not necessarily trading, stop losses, leverage, none of that, just simply buying and selling. Then futures account is for, as it says, futures trading. That is where you're going to be using different order types, stop loss, take profit, leverage, and so forth. And to move funds between each of the accounts is super easy. You can just press transfer here or click on the arrows here. For example, at the moment I have in my funding account 41 USDT 41. If I wanted to put that in my futures account, I could just press all, make sure you've selected the right coin. For example, in my futures account, I've got over $5,000 from the bonus. Again, link below if you want to claim that bonus. You will then be able to put that into, for example, back into any of the other accounts, spot account, earn account, and so on. So transferring funds between wallets is super easy. By the way, if anyone has any questions throughout this video, please do leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.